I'm just thrilled to be able to sit for a few minutes today with Anita Renfroe, and she is just so well known in our community as a Christian comedian. She's also a wife and a mother, and just a really excited grandmother, as I've been told.
100%.
Yeah, she
Yes.
makes us laugh really
True.
hard, like belly laugh, and then reduces us to tears and always directs us toward God, which is amazing. So,
And sometimes just a little bit of pee. I feel like 3 drops is the measure of if I made you laugh to the point of incontinence, then I've done my job. Yes.
oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know how we would measure that,
I
Anita.
don't know, but I'm trying to prepare your listeners just in case, they need to pause and take a little break and
Just
come right back. Yeah.
laugh and come back. Okay, it sounds good. I've been listening to a lot of your videos in the last few days preparing for our talk, and I mean, I'm just rip roaring laughing from start
Oh,
to finish. I mean, it just flows. And you've
thank
had
you.
so many pivots in your life, big pivots.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like if you live long enough and if you're at all tuned in, everybody has them. And um, the crazy and great thing is life keeps happening, which is great for comedy because there's always something to talk about. But the flip side is life keeps happening, and that
Yeah.
means you have to adjust your sails and go a different direction and be flexible and not be stuck in the same patterns that you've had your whole life because sometimes they just don't work anymore.
Yeah, 100%. What Well, I just have to bring up one story before I ask you what was your biggest pivot, your biggest place in life where kind of the story went in a direction you didn't expect. I just love the time when you said you were like 3 or 4 years old and you were standing on the stump in front of the cows and you were singing, and all the comedy, all the things you felt inside that you couldn't express in the home was coming out in front of the cows.
Yes.
It was
Cows are a very they seem like they're really taking everything in that you're offering. So they were a great audience.
yeah.
Yes, just literally about I'm waving my hand. 8 miles as the crow flies from where I'm living now is where the old home place was where my grandmother and grandfather lived. And there was a pecan bottom, meaning a stand of pecan trees down there. And occasionally one would die and they'd cut it down. And I'd stand out there and sing and express myself to the cows, and they seemed to love it. No one complained. So I'm very thankful that obviously what was hardwired, that got hardwired in my body to stand in front of people and to not be afraid of just letting it rip, letting it all hang out. Um, those things are hardwired into me early, and I'm very thankful that I found a place to use them to spread joy to women. Uh,
Mm.
I say, and a few very well evolved men from coast to coast, and I'm thankful that I can still do it. I love it. I get such joy. I get energy off of yeah, energy is the right word because like it's not the applause, it's not the ego, it's not ego driven. It's just like when you hear in the movie Chariots of Fire when Eric Liddell said, "When I run, I feel his pleasure." And
Yes.
when I hear women laughing, I feel his pleasure. That
And
there
how
is strength in the joy.
beautiful that
Yes.
because
Yes.
so much of our world isn't joyful. I was
Oh,
talking with a woman the other day, Valerie Burton. She's a really famous coach, and she just wrote this book called Resilience. It's coming out this week. And she was saying, what I like to talk about today because everything is so heavy, everything is so sorrowful,
yes.
is cultivating a practice of joy, which I totally
Wow.
love. We have talked so much for years about a gratitude practice, but
Sure.
just saying the word joy makes you light up.
Yes,
And so I think,
absolutely. And I think the practice of joy means it's intentional. And
yeah,
I really love that she is championing that idea because like sometimes I feel like women just don't make room. We don't make room for joy because there's so many demands on our time and there's so many things that can cause us. I mean, let's just be honest, menopause can really wreck the joy, right?
Right.
um, it can hot flash it straight out of you, and all of the all of the new symptoms. You're like, is this normal? Am I crazy? And the joy really has to be intentional. And so, I always say when people buy tickets to my show, you can take it off of your, see if your insurance will pay because it does good like a medicine. So says the Bible.
I mean, and I just applaud what you do because you really are in service to us. We need to laugh desperately. But how did you get there? How did you get to that place where you became a comedian?
Oh wow, it was a long slow burn. I was like one of the last people to figure it out that I was funny. Everybody would tell me that, and I thought maybe they just didn't have a very wide experience. They didn't know what was funny. They had bad taste. I'm like a million reasons why what they said might not be true. And after a while, when the 85th person tells you that, you're like, wait a minute, maybe I'm funny. I don't know. Am I? And so I was doing women's conferences, doing music, and they said, can you come back next year and do more of the funny stuff? And I didn't know it was funny. I was just talking. And so that might be one of the best measures of if the Lord has, gifted you to do something, is that it doesn't seem abnormal. It seems, doesn't everyone think crazy thoughts like this? And definitely not, I don't know, brave enough to say it out loud, but I didn't have any trouble saying it right out loud. And people seem to laugh because it's a common experience. I try not to talk about anything that's so specific that people can't join in. I just try to talk about common things.
So you at that time and still are a pastor's wife.
Yes, my husband um, was not on church staff for 17 years. He traveled with me full time because I need a lot of adult supervision, is the real reason. And then a few years ago, he had a life threatening illness. He was hospitalized for 10 days, and the resulting complications made it not so comfortable to travel anymore. So he's back now in the pastorate as a care pastor. And
Mm,
that's the part he actually really loves. He doesn't care anything about the administration or power or any of that. He just wants to be with people and love on them. So this is a perfect fit for him. So I'm back on the road doing most of my dates alone,
mm.
which forces me to be a big girl and hitch up my panties and, you know,
Get
figure
your
out which way is north, south, east, and west, which I didn't have to worry about for a long time. John did all the thinking for me. So, it's a different season. Time to adjust.
so you live in this life that is always filled with a sense of humor.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how people live without it. I think laughing about something 19 times a day is far superior to curling up in a fetal position and trying to figure it out. So, we love to laugh. Our house was always, we never had that rule you can't laugh at the table. My kids could laugh, they could spit milk, we didn't care. Whoever was the funniest won the night. So
Love it.
we kind of had a different kind of vibe, I guess. And my kids now, I feel are very joyful people, so I'm thankful for that.
So has there been a place, a point, a happening where it just wasn't very humorous? It wasn't funny.
Oh my goodness, so many times. The one that specific one that I think about is when one of my kids kind of went off the rails for a while. And if you have more than one child, you know how they say one makes you proud and another one makes you pray, right?
Preach.
So at different times, different stories, but this one time it was pretty significant with significant consequences. And I remember I was doing Women of Faith. I think Lisa was there part of this time too. And I was contractually obligated to show up and spread joy when I myself was having a real hard time finding some.
Yeah.
Um, and my husband and I were really grieving because this was something we never, I don't know that we never saw coming, but you try not to think that it's going to happen. And I would show up to Women of Faith. This was on a Friday because at this point we were doing pre-conferences. So I would show up on a Thursday night, and two of my friends, if I mentioned them, you would know who they are. Patsy Claremont and Jan Silvius were doing the pre-conference with me. This was when the conference started earlier in the afternoon for people that were really spiritual. Like you would buy a ticket and come.
Right.
If you were the most spiritual, you would come to this part. So I remember I would show up Thursday night. When I would land, when my plane would land, my phone would ding because it says I had a message waiting. And I would listen to the message. It would be one of them, Patsy or Jan, saying, "We're in room 236. We can't wait to hear all the stuff you need to tell us this week.
Oh,
We're waiting to love you and pray for you." And to have that kind of support from people that were not related to me, who probably had their own struggles going on,
right.
meant the world. That they didn't say, "Hey, come on, we'll talk about your problems." They said, "We're here waiting." And that was such a blessing
Hmm.
during that time to have people waiting to
Yeah.
hear what you had to say. And they didn't care if you cried or yelled or cussed a little, you know,
Yeah.
they wouldn't judge you. They just loved me and prayed for me.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned in my grief journey is how not only powerful, but just completely necessary a deep and trusted friend group is.
Oh, without a doubt. Sorry, I got it. My glasses are falling down. Okay, great. Yes,
How's this wedding? How are we doing in
we're
Austin?
doing good. You're good. I feel like I was really trying for Dewey. Um, yes, the trusted friend group is essential. And I know some women are hardwired to appreciate aloneness and big margins and introversion and that sort of thing. But I could not advocate any stronger for at least a couple of people
Mhm,
who will hear your heart without judgment and
mhm.
who will give themselves to you when you're in crisis.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just a different thing, and it is such a measure of the grace and the mercy of God to provide those things in our life. So I would also say it's really important to nurture those,
Oh, yeah.
because
And
it's kind of hard to make those friends in the middle of a crisis, right?
yeah.
You need them already there for you.
And when you go through a crisis, sometimes friends you thought were those friends don't accompany you. And
Oh,
people you thought
so
were lightweight begin to really come alongside you.
yes, thank God. Those are defining moments in a friendship,
Mhm.
I believe. And I'm thankful. Yeah, so how would we put that? Have a lot of friends to pick from.
So, what was it like? I mean, here you are traveling every weekend, and you're supposed to be funny on stage, and your heart's broken
Yes.
over your child.
Yes.
What was it like to have that public facing persona, and yet
Right.
inside you were grieving?
Well, I am thankful that as a comedian, I had a lot of material to draw from. I didn't have to pretend to be happy. I just had to lean hard into the things I had already developed. And I think that is a great principle for anyone going through anything hard because you still have to show up. Some of
Mm.
people have great jobs that they still need to go to in order to continue to support their habit of a mortgage and groceries. Um, you you can do the things you need to do. You can depend upon the talents and the skills that you've already developed and do the things that need to be done. In that instance, my heart was breaking. I would cry during worship, and then I would take my little powder puff and go up under here, and they'd say, "Welcome, Anita Renfroe." But boy, did it give me strength to stand on that stage and deliver joy because once again, like Eric Liddell, I
Mm,
felt his pleasure. So it
that's
was
interesting.
difficult. Yeah, it was difficult in one way, but I feel like the Lord gives us responsibility so that we can keep showing up and knowing that his strength is perfect in our weakness.
Hmm. Did you um, did you question God in
Oh,
those times?
oh yes.
I
Oh
mean, I was
yes.
so mad at him. I was
Why?
serious.
Yes. Why in the world? I am a little bit Jewish in that particular thing. We've been taught, oh, don't box with God, don't come against him. He's going to strike you dead. But I really believe in wrestling with the questions, and I think God's shoulders are big enough to handle our doubt and our anger.
Mhm.
Because it was, I was a little bit mad about it. Like how
I was real mad.
yeah, how do we serve you? Because in that moment, I think your faith becomes a little transactional. Like,
Mhm.
Lord, look at all the things I've done for you. How could you do this to me? But, the truth is on the other side of that is the grace and mercy of God that he never fails. He's faithful even when we are faithless. And I'd love to be able to say that, oh no, like Job, I never questioned the Lord. But even Job kind of got upbraided a little bit. Where were you when I was storing all that snow? And yeah, right. So I love that the Lord is big enough to handle our doubts.
Absolutely. I love what you said about the questions. I don't know exactly how you said it because there's a phrase I love that's from a poet, Rainer Marie Rilke. He talks about being able to live the questions and not
Yes.
just to have the answers.
Right. Because sometimes the answers are slow coming and or never come. And Henry Nouwen never come in this life. I'll put it that way. Henry Nouwen is one of my favorite authors,
Right.
and yeah, in his devotional, there's one that he talks about stepping over our hurts and our grievances because some will not be solved, even if you go to therapy for 115 years, if you live that long. You will not get the apology that you're looking for because that person has already died. And
Hmm.
some of these things we just need to step over, or
Hmm.
else they will poison us. And I'm a big believer in stepping over things that I can't explain or I don't have answers for. Just step over.
I agree 100%, but sometimes that step, the foot just wobbles on the top and then
For
goes back
sure.
and then tries again because
For sure. It could be
I'm
a little
right
dance, a
now.
little dance step. Yeah. Back
I'm
and forth.
trying to step over something right now and I'm struggling with it.
It's all right. Take a step. And if you have to jump back over, it'll still be there another day.
I've heard you say two things that I would hope our listeners and viewers would really hold on to. I I think it's so extraordinary that in the depths of pain, because when something's going on with a child, deeply going on with one of your children, there is no true happiness in your life. I know from experience with one of my boys. I mean, there
Yes.
there just isn't a true, fully lived out happiness when one of your children is really suffering.
Right.
But your part of your healing, it sounds like, was putting that joy out to others
Oh,
because you
yes.
actually had to, but it also was a bridge for you.
Yes, and it comes back to you. I feel like the joy and happiness that I call it. I'm a purveyor of fine joy, but it doesn't just bless everyone else. Like it comes back to me
That was
because
part of the healing.
yeah, I consider what I do a conversation with the audience. Now the audience doesn't have a microphone, and unless they're heckling, they don't get to talk back. But they're voting with their laughter that yes, I identify with that. Yes, that resonates with me. And I find a lot of community just in that conversation. And so the audience blessed me as much as I felt that my job was to be there to bless them. So absolutely it was part of my healing to get up, put my lipstick on, stand up and tell people that the joy of the Lord is our strength, even when I was feeling weak. It was a
I,
great help to me.
I love that. The second thing you said is sometimes you're just not going to get that apology. Just step over it and get on with life.
Yes, because it's only hurting you, right? Like unforgiveness is another situation where it just hurts you.
Mhm.
You're allowing that person that wronged you to take up brain space and emotional bandwidth that you really need to have available for the beautiful and brilliant things that the Lord has put in front of you. So I feel like stepping over just sets us free to enjoy the good things that God has.
Oh, I do too. And I love that you touched on unforgiveness because this, we live in a world where there's a lot of that right now.
Yes, unforgiveness. And, a lot of just, I don't know how to say it, hardness. You hardly see people softness anymore, the humanity. Everyone's just interested in blowing things up online. And it's like, I'm just, I'm 63. I don't really have time to care about everybody's opinion anymore. I
Yeah,
just,
I get it. I'm just taking it upward. That's where I am.
there you go.
If I'm aligned here, I'm okay.
There you go. I love it. That's true.
So I've kept you as long as we committed to keep you, but I wanted to briefly ask, where's your story today? You came
Ah,
through a lot of pivots, but 62, 63-year-old Anita still thriving
yes.
on stage
Yes.
all the time. Tell me
Still
about.
doing it. I'm surprised. I can't believe I still get to. It's I don't know. I keep thinking like at some point I'll be the joke instead of telling the jokes, but so far so good. Um the story now is that child of mine who's a well adult now um came through, of course, with battle scars. There's not much way to I don't know how you insulate yourself against those, but is serving the Lord and
Mm.
is committed and wonderful parent.
Oh,
And
I love.
the Lord is a redeemer.
I was
And
going to say, you are giving me a redemption story.
yes, the Lord is a redeemer. I know this. And time is not a healer, but time definitely helps.
Yes.
So we know that the Lord is the healer. He's the healer and the redeemer. So um keep looking to the redeemer and keep looking for, oh, I heard a word the other day. It's probably not new to everybody else, but it was kind of new to me, which this is the opposite of triggers. Do you know the word glimmers?
Glimmers. I love glimmers. I pray
Yes.
every day for glimmers.
Glimmers. Well, you can have those emotionally too. If
Yeah.
you're in the middle of a hard time, ask the Lord to reveal to you glimmers of hope about that situation. And if you can, attach yourself to a vision of that situation being resolved in the best possible way. And then ask the Lord to continually to reveal to you glimmers of that reality, because
Yes.
it's happening, but sometimes it's happening slowly. So it can be we can be so impatient, right? We want it to be over or to be healed or to be redeemed or transformed in a quick way. But the Lord's mercy is long and slow. But
Hmm.
there's also and suddenlies. I believe in those too.
Suddenly.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of those in the Bible.
Yeah.
So those can happen too, but there's a lot more long and slow than there is and suddenly. I'm sorry
But
to
you
say.
gave us a beautiful, kind of workbook in a concise way of you got to have a mindset shift. And this is how you
Sure.
manifest the long haul. And then you ask God, what is there good about this I'm not getting? Come on, show me now.
Sure. Sure. And how are
So
you
thank
changing
you.
me? And
Yeah.
how are you changing me? Not how
Mhm.
are you changing that situation out there that I have almost zero control or input in. But
Yeah.
I think the Lord is continually redeeming us too.
That's a beautiful way to close. Anita, this has been so special. I know you're a comedian, but you're just deeply steeped in wisdom
I'm
and goodness.
so deep for a shallow person. Is that what you're trying to say?
Stop. That's not true. I can't wait for our next conversation, and I'm going to call my sister in 1 second and tell her how much fun we had.
I'm excited to talk to you again. I loved it. Thanks for inviting me.
You are amazing. Thank you so much. Take care.